The students and their families are here to participate in a ceremony that I know you are going to find very rewarding for all of us. We're celebrating academic honors and the fact that you, the class of 2007, will be moving to the 8th grade. Many people will receive special awards today, but we're here to honor all of you for the excellent accomplishments that you've made throughout the school year. How many people in the audience, and I can see just a little bit, but how many of you are dog owners in the audience? A lot of people have dogs. Well, we have a dog at my house, and our dog is a 6-pound, long-haired miniature dachshund, and his name is Opie. Now, all the dogs that we've ever had in the 32 years that my husband and I have been married, we just had our anniversary yesterday. That's why that 32 is right the tip of my tongue. I'll share something else personal with you. Not only was yesterday our 32nd wedding anniversary, but it was my parents' 65th. Now that's something to remember. Dogs in our house have been named after a character in the show Andy of Mayberry. Now, some of the students may not remember that, but I know that the parents do. So our dog is Opie. And he most often gets his way around the house. I don't know about the dogs in your family. He considers himself to be the king of our household, but his very favorite pastime and his main goal in life is to nap in the sunlight. He follows the light. As the day progresses and the sunlight moves from room to room about the house, you'll find him in different spots, just in on different pieces of furniture that he's not supposed to be on, and different places in the house, sitting majestically before drifting off into a deep and peaceful sleep. He follows the light, seeking its warmth. Students, because of the gifts that you have been given and your personal motivation, you have the opportunity to be a shining light for others. You possess essentials for being outstanding role models, and others will want to follow your light and your fine example. Take that responsibility very seriously and continue to do your best throughout the next 5 years that many of you will be students at Lake Braddock. Again, to all of you, congratulations. I'm very, very proud of you.
Thank you, Mrs. Burke. I just want to add my congratulations ahead of time to all those who will be recognized this afternoon. But I would like to repeat what Mrs. Burke has said because it's very important to remember, students. Each and every one of you have made some significant gain or progress, have made some degree of success for which you can be very proud. So as you see your classmates come forward and receive awards and certificates, still feel pride for yourself, even though you may not be walking up on the stage today, that you have done a wonderful job this year, I have seen such growth in all of you in maturity, and you've got lots of years ahead of you to surge and work forward to those recognitions. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce our Director of Student Services, Mrs. Deborah Beasley.
Good afternoon and welcome. I feel like I've made it through my first year here at Lake Braddock too. So first of all, I want to say you guys have made it through the first year of middle school, and we've done that together. I'd like to first of all tell the parents what a wonderful job you've done with your children, and that we are looking forward to working with them next year as 8th graders. At this time, I would like for the teachers to come down on the stage to the left who are presenting awards. And then at that time, they can come forward and we will follow the program as written. Thank you.
I shall be reading the names of students who are being recognized for outstanding achievement in English and the English electives. Will students whose names are called come to the stage? You are reminded that we want the program to move briskly, and so request that you hold your applause until all the students have come forward. I'll signal you when that time comes. Outstanding students in English for Mrs. Boyle, Amanda Moncada, Kimberly Carrillo. Outstanding students for Mrs. Gaines, Dominique Madison, Joya Patel. For Mrs. Grosvenor, Luis Ramirez, Travis Kavanaugh. For Mrs. Moran, Victoria Altman, Melissa Giusti. For Miss Moyer, Nathan Eberly. For Mrs. Willison, Kelly Thompson, and Anfan Lee. For Mrs. Young, Katie Dye, and for me, Mrs. Shea, Alvin Kim, and Natalie Viana. presenting math awards. I would like to ask her and the math teachers now prepared to come to the stage. Thank you very much.
Outstanding achievement in mathematics for Mr. Woods, Math 7, Charlie West, and Kristen Samick. Hold your applause, please. For Mrs. Carfagno, Math 7, Matthew Baltz and Ashley Jordan. For Mrs. Gretton, Math 7, Antonio Olivieri and Nader Hussein. For Ms. Lamonaco, Math 7, Chantel Hodge and Whitney Simmons. For Ms. Shear, Math 7, Paul Hong. For Mrs. Julian, Math 7, Aaron Bresley and Kyle Walker. And I would like to recognize Math 7, Peter Choi, and Math 7 Honors, Mark Galligan. We had a wonderful math counts team this year on which there were 3 7th graders, and I'd like to recognize those 3 students and have them come forward at this time. They are Kevin Liu, Jonathan Yeager, and Sharon Eulery. At this time, I'd like to invite Mrs. Serafino and the social studies teachers to the stage.
Recognize the following students. For Mrs. Lipsy, John Jasket and Janina Ledesma. For Mr. Facciola, Zachary Hambry, Gabriel Fuentes. For Mrs. Snow, Michelle Beatty, Mark Galligan. For Mrs. Syke, Chris Redderson, Chris Mortweed. For Mrs. Davis, Christina Sensoplano and Scott Chubb. For Miss Mahoney, Catherine Wilder. For myself, Nicholas Donnelly and Michael Pereira. those awards, the Social Studies Department would also like to present to Robert Orzelli the medal and the certificate for winning the school level National Geography Bee. And so Robert, in addition, every year the Social Studies Department competes in the National Social Studies Olympiad. I'm proud to say that this year we scored 3rd in the nation, and we would like those students who allowed us to do that to stand at their seats while I read their names. For Mrs. Snow, Tori Altman, Yoon Kim, Mark Galligan, Doug Tanner, Rachel Rudebush, Ariel Miller, and Aiden Quirk. For Mrs. Lipsy, John Jaskett, Scott Waddell, Tony Corneo, and Connie Kaufman. For Mrs. Serafino, Joey Kuda.
Students, I do want to remind you, we appreciate your enthusiasm, but we would prefer that you just applaud. And again, keep the noise down to a minimum. Thank you very much.
Would the following students please come to the stage and be recognized? Please hold your applause until all recipients have received their award. Honoring in Ms. Hinson's classroom, we have Morgan Statham and Rob Wills. Would you please come on down? In Mrs. Hass's classroom, we have Lauren Lessard and Jeff Moore Singer. In Mrs. Hart's classroom, we have Amelia Baker and Jared Naus. In Mrs. Perry's classroom, we have Iram Sheikh and Rebecca Holmes. In Mrs. Ash's classroom, we have Claire Coleman and Connie Beiser. In Mr. Schweinsberg's classroom, we have Margaret Emery. And in my classroom, Mr. McCain, we have Chris Buck and Paul Langston.
Students have all made wonderful progress this year, but we have room for four different students that have received a special award. Would those students please come forward? Chen Ting Yen, Prerna Thakral, Christina Lee, and Kingsley Evans Kwamla.
be recognized if you attended a district chorus, orchestra, or band festival this year. Please stand at your seat if you were a person who went to district chorus, district orchestra, or district band. We're very, very proud of you. Please come to the stage and be recognized. And Kimberly Perillo. Please hold your applause until all music students come to the stage. For guitar, I would like to recognize Addison Gomez. In band, Mr. Bean would like to recognize Justin Kim. And in chorus, I would like to recognize Josh Eflin and Kelly Hogan. Please come to the stage and be recognized. Let's give them a round of applause. He did a great job. At this time, I would like to present Ms. O'Brien, who will give out the Drama Awards. So very proud of your accomplishment this year. All students who participated in our fantastic musical theater adventure this year, Guys and Dolls, if you were in the crew or the cast or had anything to do with helping out at all with that show, would you please stand and let us recognize you and thank you.
I'd like to take this opportunity to extend my congratulations to all the award winners, and as well to sadly announce that I keep giving awards to all of my drama students who are all so wonderful, and making a selection to minimize to a small number is very difficult. Nonetheless, I would like to congratulate Ms. Tori Altman and Sarah Coleman. At this time, I'd like to welcome my colleague from the art department, Mrs. Mullen. Good afternoon, and I would like to introduce my colleague, Mrs. Roan. Together, we have taught nearly 300 7th graders this year. And with that large number of students, it's very difficult to just bring it down to 2 students who would receive an award. However, these 2 students have shown characteristics that have been outstanding. Not only have they been creative, but they have shown self-motivation and they have shown persistence. Because of that, I would like to extend my congratulations to Daniel Clayton and to Hemi Chang. Would you please come up and receive your awards? Also participates in a national competition, the National Scholastic Awards Competition. It is a highly prestigious competition, and the students actually compete against other 7th, 8th, and 9th graders nationally. This year we were fortunate enough to receive 3 awards for 3 7th grade students in the area of ceramic pottery. They are Jared Canals, Certificate of Merit, Sana Idress, Silver Key, and Caroline Wright, Gold Key. Please come forward to receive a certificate. Thank you to all the 7th grade artists.
Physical Education Department, it's my pleasure and honor to recognize the following students for their outstanding work. Please come up to the stage and be recognized. Sean Robinson, Jared Knaus, Katie Guy, and Lee Van Leer.